So this build was inspired by that one ditch in the ground you make when you and your friends are playing on a server, but you didn't find enough wool, and it's night. It's just straight up night. So what I did for this build is that I made a ditch in the ground, but I tried to make it have as much facilities as I could. So basically, it's just like anything but getting a bed. Like it's like that one friend who does not sleep, who cannot go to sleep for the life of them. So first of all, I started by clearing out a big area underground and I divided it into a couple of rooms. Here is the layout because it's too hard for me to explain it. And yeah, so for the lobby, I didn't do much. I just put a couple of barrels there and and my cat named Mr. Bartholomew. Then right next to it was the storage room, which had a bunch of barrels, armor stand, and I put a stone cutter there. For the floor, I wanted to do something cool, so I did like the fade effect with the stained glass and everything. In the middle part, I put a pet Enderman who I named Stu, and right across from the Enderman in the enchanting room, for the ceiling, I decided to put an amethyst geode there, which is inspired by another build, which you can find on the server Blossomcraft if you join the Lotus server and teleport to books and such. I need to give credit where credit is due. And after that, I made like another sub room in the enchanting room to put the actual enchanting table there. The enchanting room also contained a bunch of anvils and a grindstone and a couple of barrels to store whatever books and lapis I need. Then I made a workplace which contained every remaining workbench that I hadn't already put in the house. And next to that was the farm. It contained cows. I put a bunch of hoppers under the cows that were connected to copper chests so that every time we killed the cow, the mob drop would be transferred into the chest. And of course I put some moss carpet on top of the hoppers to make it look a bit more presentable. In the middle part of the house, I decided to put an netherite beacon underground instead of doing a living room, and I feel like that just gave it a bit more unique vibe instead of just making a living room there. Then of course at the end I put some oak logs and a couple of flowering azalea leaves with the sporing blossom hack as I did in the previous video. Then just lighted up the entire place with chains and lanterns, except for the enchanting room. Instead of putting any lanterns in there, I just filled in the remaining dark areas with glowstone that were covered by flowering azalea leaves. And of course, here are a few pictures I took. And I hope you like this build because this is just 2 hours of building all compressed into 5 minutes, which is insanely sad, low key. That's upsetting. But I hope you enjoyed the build and I hope we got another step closer to somehow achieving originality. And that will be it for today. So goodbye.